In this video, I'm going to talk about the advantages of running your own club events and parties, how you would approach a venue, the things you should be mindful of when working with venues, and once you've locked in a date for your night, your best chances of making that event successful. The very first step to running a successful event is to come up with the reason why you want it and develop an idea or a concept for the event. For instance, I started my first club event in 1999, but it wasn't like I spent years thinking I should start a club, nor did I even know that I wanted to run a club. The truth was there was a club that I frequented for a few years. I was going out every weekend that suddenly shut down. And after a few weeks, perhaps even a month, right? Maybe 2 months tops, right? Of having nowhere else to go, it hit me. There's a gap in the market for that particular style of club. And I went on to think about what would be involved in actually running a weekly club event. Now from there, I came up with a plan and I started working through a to-do list that I made myself. And that first event of mine, I went on to run every single Friday night at the first venue I ever approached for 7 years. And 7 years in, I then expanded out big time. And at one point, I was running several events per week down the east coast of Australia, flying between events, and honestly, it was without a doubt an amazing time and experience of my life. And I'm now doing my best to now open those same options to you. See, running clubs and DJing every single week was my sole source of income for 17 years. And I'm going to share what I learned now. And I wish I had access to that info when I was starting out. Okay, so number one, come up with a vision and ideally find an idea that excites you and that you feel passionate about. So in my case, I started an event to fill a much needed gap in the market. So for instance, let's say you're into tech house and there's only commercial clubs in your local area, but you feel there's a big tech house scene. Then by starting a club that meets a demand in the market, and let's say you fill that gap in the market, your event is more likely going to be successful. And it also means that when approaching a venue to run your event, you're going to be able to pitch your idea, and the more passionate you are about your idea, trust me, the easier it's going to be to sell that to the venue and get them on board. Now they do say, okay, life without goals is like trying to put together a jigsaw puzzle without the box top, and the same goes for running an event. So the first step to running a successful club event is to come up with a vision or concept for the night that's going to keep you up at night. It's going to excite you. Now, once you have a clear idea of what you want and why you want it, the next question you need to ask yourself is, how big is your idea so you can find an appropriate size venue? So for instance, let's say you have access to a network of DJs and you're optimistic that you can fill a much needed gap in the market. You may seek out an established venue with the goal of running a weekly or perhaps even monthly event, and the size of the venue that you seek out will be in direct proportion to how many people you feel that your event can attract. Now personally, okay, I've worked with venues of all sizes before, and the first venue I ever went for and succeeded at was a 500 capacity venue. But in saying that, let's say you find a smaller space that perhaps only holds 100 people. That can take the pressure off you, and not having enough space to fit everyone in is a much better problem to have than working with huge spaces and not being able to attract enough people to fill them. And let's say people walk in and the club looking empty, like you don't want that. Okay, but here's the thing. Also, when approaching a venue to run an event, the first question the venue is going to ask you is, how many people do you think your event's going to attract? And they're going to know from experience that promoters always over exaggerate. So if you're not sure, okay, and you'd rather ease into it and build your confidence, go for a smaller venue. But if you're confident that you can attract good numbers from the get-go, you could aim for like a venue with it's a bit bigger, it's got a bit more runs on the board. However, okay, let's say you have an idea to run a club, but you're not sure that you can get anyone, okay, and you're afraid to take the risk. Another option could be to find a venue that already has a solid base crowd. So for instance, a local bar or perhaps a cool restaurant or even a popular cafe. This is way less risky than starting your own event from scratch and becomes more like a job than running an actual event. But it's still a very viable option for you to get experience as a DJ. But just remember, if you do want to DJ at an existing venue that already perhaps has entertainment and people there, when you approach the venue or even the promoters for a regular gig or possibly even a free trial, Don't talk about you and how it helps you. For instance, don't go in saying, I'd really love to get some experience, okay? Trust me, the venue don't care, okay? They care about their business. So the key to getting venues to actually want to work with you is to talk about their business passionately and their needs. And now having a DJ could add value to their existing nights and attract even more people. And trust me, post-COVID, venues are going to be looking for ways to get people back out and into a habit of attending their venues. And if you can help them with their goals, they're going to be more likely to help you with yours. So remember, if you're approaching venues, make it more about them and what you can do to help them than what they can do for you. However, I do digress, as this video is more about running your own event. So let's say you have a concept for your event and you've done some research, you've found a suitable venue. Then how would you go about approaching that venue and what do you need to watch out for? Okay, even though I know phone calls are no longer cool, okay, and these days everyone's texting or is communicating virtually, right? But putting that aside, you need to consider that people that own venues are probably older and older people still do phone calls. So personally, I may call the venue and ask for the manager or even the entertainment manager and let them know that you're interested in running an event at their venue. And can you set up a meeting or even grab an email address so you can send them through a proposal? Now, a nightclub proposal can be simple or it can be in depth, but remember, large bodies of text, okay, like an essay, right? They're most likely going to be skimmed. So use bullet points where you can, but you're going to need to outline the name of the event, how often you want the venue to run. Like, for instance, is it going to be a weekly or a monthly event? The theme of the event, like meaning what genre of music you specialize in, your target demographic, and perhaps even the estimated size of the market that you can reach and that you're hoping to attract. Now, you could even include how you plan to reach those people, like to build awareness and give an estimation on numbers that you're aiming to attract, what you plan to charge for entry, and then specifics like what you would provide and also what you expect the venue to provide. So for instance, nightclub promoters usually provide the entertainment, like the DJs and all that, the promotion to get people there, the door girl, and most importantly, a promise to get the people there. And the venue provides the venue, the bar staff, and the security. Now, let's say your proposal intrigues them, okay? Then they may test you and give you a trial. Now, for instance, if it's a weekly event, a 6-week trial is standard. However, if it's a monthly event, they might give you a single event to prove yourself. But either way, now comes the stage where you have to be really careful, okay? And that is the venue negotiation. And let's say you're just starting out and you've got no experience, okay? The venue is most likely going to want to protect themselves in the event that your event fails, right, and no one turns up. So they may ask you for a venue fee to cover their costs, or worse, ask for a minimum bar spend where they say you can run your event at our venue, but we expect your crowd to spend 10K or more on the bar, and any less you have to make up the difference out of your own pocket. Now, in truth, right, you'd be way better off with a straight up venue fee, as minimum bar spends are the biggest fuck you to promoters I've ever witnessed, as I personally feel, okay, you should be working with the venue to make it work. And trust me, right, the venue's expenses are not going to be $10,000. So they're basically saying with a minimum bar spend, if we don't make money off your crowd, we're going to make it off you. And you don't want to enter into relationships where people that operate like that, honestly, you need to find venues that are happy to be reasonable and they're going to work with you to assure the future success of your events. So a reasonable deal would be a straight up venue fee, and it's really common for a venue to ask for about $1,000 just to cover their costs, or at least some of their costs. And outside of the venue fee, you're going to get all the money made from door sales. So anyone that turns up and pays for entry, you get all that, and the venue get all the money made from the bar. But if you wanted to come in with a counter offer and show that you know what you're doing, you could say to the venue, okay, but how about if $5,000 is spent on the bar, that you don't have to pay for any of the venue fee? And that's going to give you greater motivation to put more money into promoting the event, and it's going to give you a target to aim for. Now, trust me, venues are going to love that way of thinking, and they're going to appreciate the fact that your focus went straight onto numbers, as that's also their main concern. Now, either way, a smaller venue fee versus a bar deal is fair, and it's way more reasonable than trying to meet ridiculous bar spends. Now, in time, especially if your events are successful, you may even get to a point where the venue may decide to waive the venue fee altogether, and you simply get all the money made from door sales and tickets sold, and the venue make all the money from the bar. But in truth, only promoters with runs on the board and promoters that have got experience get those kind of deals these days. For instance, a few years back, I ran a 20-year anniversary for the first event that I ever started, and I approached a really big venue, and they said to me, right, usually it's a 10K minimum bar spend, but they knew me, okay? And they knew my events, and they wanted me to run my event at their venue. So they said, man, they'll waive the bar spend that time and do a standard door deal, meaning I get all the money made from entry to the event and they get all the money on the bar. Now, honestly, that's fair, okay? And realistically, a goal all promoters should aspire to. But again, something that may need to be earned through showing you're a successful promoter. Okay, so once you've managed to negotiate a venue, the next step, without a doubt, is organizing entertainment, marketing the event to show big numbers, okay, and then the actual running of the event. But this video, man, it's already getting pretty long. So let me know if you want a video on that, and I'll do a to be a continued kind of thing next week. As in truth, running clubs is a topic very close to my heart, and I can't think of any other YouTube channel run by a club promoter with nearly 20 years experience running events and DJing weekly. So let me know if this is something you would be interested in, as running clubs, man, it's one of my greatest passions that I would love to share with you. As let's face it, if you want DJing to be a career, running an event can be the perfect first step, as with it comes influence. And also think of it this way, right? If you're getting $10 or let's say even $20 per head, and let's say your events get to a stage they're attracting 500 plus people, that's over $10,000. And if you're running weekly events, that's per week. So sure, you have to cover the costs of the other DJs, but if you DJ yourself, like not to save money, but more because you love to play, and by playing you take creative control of the direction of the event, you could easily earn enough money to live life on your terms and have an amazing lifestyle. But again, it comes with risk. So trust me, without an idea that you're passionate about and committed to, you may decide it's not worth the risk. And if so, remember, when approaching promoters for shows, make it about what you can do for them, not what they can do for you. As trust me, they're going to have pressures from the venue to get numbers, and it's about working as a team with your promoters to achieve common goals. Okay, now if this video sounds great and gets you thinking, but you're still building your confidence and skills behind the decks, and you feel you'd benefit from a more organized and structured approach, I had this deal on my course last week that got a huge response. Thank you for that, right? And that deal was supposed to end today, but I'll keep it open one more day. I'm sorry for the promo, right? But anyway, one more day for the people still watching this. And honestly, if you want to transform the way you play and have the confidence to play live in a short period of time, check that out. So I'll put that in the description now, as without a doubt, this is the best package deal I've seen in the DJ world. And course aside, even the power of the Club Ready tribe is monumental, and I actually have a team of students promoting their own events now, and their lineups are full of Club Ready students. So if you want more info on that, honestly, just check out my Club Ready Instagram and Facebook pages, as I use my social media pages pretty much solely these days to plug my students and their events. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, life without passion or having something to be passionate about is no life at all. So do something that excites you, and you never know, it may create a ripple effect and affect the lives of thousands of people. Anyway, I'm getting into it now. anyway, it's time to think a little bit bigger. Thanks again for support, for your support, everything, man. Love you guys, honestly. Cheers.